Welcome to Through the Wire.
Through the wire.
Man, it's sad because the off season's pretty much over, y'all.
That
What you
was
see is what you get. And we about to go into a season, man. Derek, how you feeling today?
I'm just excited for the season, man. There's something that I look forward to every day, and it seems like every day it just get a little bit closer, a little bit closer. You got to watch a little highlights to just feed that little craving. But I'm ready.
Rank your excitement for your three teams. Like, which teams are you more excited for, and which teams at the bottom?
Can I answer for him to guess? I want to say the Trailblazers are the highest. Then he's going to say the Bulls. Then he's going to say the Spurs. That's just my guess, D Mills. Let's see how it falls right or off.
It is. I mean, I'm not super excited for the Spurs. They cool. They're the exact same. It's not really much change in the roster, so
Right.
it's not really much to be excited about. Because when they were playing decent, they were still out of the playoffs. So not much to be excited about there.
Nah, I feel you. Mike, how about you?
Feeling good. Last night was one of them nights where you went to bed, I went to bed early, woke up in the middle of the night. I cannot go back to bed, so I was just up. Finally got back to sleep, and then you wake up and it's almost time to do what you got to do. So it was one of them nights, but I'm feeling good. Like D Mills said, ready for the season. A lot of exciting stuff going on. But
You was on Madden all night? Because you was on Madden when we was on.
no, I think I literally just logged on real quick at 11 or something, because they got all the Black Friday deals going on. So every couple of hours they have a new promotion go up. So I just check to see what's on there. But no, I wasn't really on the game after I think around 8. I think I got off early.
Yeah. And P, what about you?
It's chilling. I'm waiting on the season for sure, but college basketball is back, so that's what I've been on hardcore the last few days. Feeding that desire and want for basketball. But yeah, just chilling watching college basketball. My Knicks signed Michael Kidd-Gilchrist this morning. I guess,
I mean, y'all got a defender. Y'all got a greedy defender on your team.
I can't wait to see that lineup.
Imagine him and Frank Ntilikina.
Frank Ntilikina, Frank Ntilikina, RJ, Michael Kidd-Gilchrist, Obi, and Julius Randle on the court together.
That one ain't gonna happen.
They said Tom Thibodeau love defense, so let's just go get it for him. And
yeah, that's a perfect thing. Just kind of throw your hands up and just move on with it. But yeah.
Yeah, the past couple of days ain't really been much going on in free agency, but some things did happen between our last episode and now, so let's get into some of the bigger news of the week. The first one being Bam Adebayo got that max extension. One of the other people to get it. 5 years, $163 million extension. It surprised some people because that's cutting into that Giannis money for 2021. But it happened. Bam Adebayo had one of the coolest, and I wouldn't say out of nowhere, because if you watched him last year, you knew that he had this type of potential. But to see it happen in just one season where he goes from, backing up Hassan Whiteside to being an all-NBA player, all-star, and being a part of a team that went on to a championship run is really significant. So he deserves every penny of that.
Yeah, if I'm the Heat, I think it's worth the gamble, because you can't afford to not give him that extension, then he walks for nothing, and then you still don't get Giannis. So you kind of just have to take that, give him that extension, and just roll with it, because he's worth it. He's worth the max. Some team was going to give him that money anyway, so you might as well do it in order to try to keep him.
I think it's just what you got to do. He fits their culture perfectly, I think, and the way he kind of raised himself up to the top, so now he's one of their best players and leaders. I think he's definitely in the money at this point.
No, I agree. I think you got to take care of the people that you already have. Giannis is a cool desire that you could want and fantasize with, but you got to take care of what you already have, because Giannis isn't a given, right? And that's just, to me, I no disrespect to Giannis, but for the team that they have, I think that there's other pieces that make more sense than Giannis, just because it's hard to picture him on the floor with Jimmy and Bam, with spacing and all the issues that comes with Giannis being on the floor. You know what I mean? I think they should probably put their eyes set to somebody that's more of a fit, you know what I mean? But I understand Giannis is a guy that you have to try to get. You have to try to, make your team as good as you can. But yeah, I agree with Derek and Mike. I think it was a move that you had to do, because if you didn't, it would have been a little foolish to lose him by fantasizing about somebody that's way over there. So he deserves it, like you said. He won one of the nicest come ups. I mean, his transcendence this year has been kind of crazy, so he deserves it.
And some people have pointed out that Bam Adebayo and Giannis have the same agent. So if Bam signing an extension for this amount of money, cutting into that Giannis money may signify that Giannis is about to sign that SuperMax sometime in the next week or so. We will see. What do y'all think? I know, have we really even talked about Giannis's SuperMax potential? I don't think it's something that's come up on the show, but like individually, if you're Giannis, would you feel comfortable signing a SuperMax contract this offseason, given all the moves that they've made as a team?
This offseason, no. I just don't think it's smart, even if I was comfortable with it, because you don't want them to get comfortable. You still want them to feel like they have to do whatever it takes. And, some of the reports I heard was, they were on that path to getting him to feel that way. But the Bogdanovich miss was a big thing for him. So, yeah, I mean, that changes everything. Drew Holiday was nice, but I think getting Bogdan, it put them at a different level. And the fact that they didn't. They still went out and got some good pieces. Brent Forbes. I feel like they added somebody else.
They had a lot of changes. I'm about to look it up. And I want to talk about them and see if y'all think that they got better or did a lot of their moves end up lateral, because I saw a lot of that conversation on Twitter the other day. Mike, if you were Giannis, would you feel comfortable signing that SuperMax right now?
Honestly, no. And this is my reason why. Just because the way the Bucks are going about it, I don't know how far they're just gonna go. Like with the talent, when they say that, it kind of worries me when they say that that Bogdanovich, like he was the focal point, like he was one of the main reasons why they feel like, once they let him go, they felt like they weren't confident that Giannis was going to be all the way in and do all this type of stuff. So that for me, I think Giannis has the ability where he has a pool. He could be like, I want a 1+1 year deal or something like that. I think that in the back of his mind, he knows that, the Bucks probably need him a lot more than, he needs them, right? It's going to be every team knocking on his door, trying to give him that max, and it's going to be willing to put the piece around him. If the Bucks can't do it in the short coming years, then it's just no point to stay. I like the 1+1 deal.
Yeah, if I'm him, I'm applying pressure. I'm not signing that extension this offseason. I'm putting the pressure on the front office to try to make me want to be here. They tried to do it with Drew Holiday. I mean, you just got to see the success of this team. This team could still go to the playoffs and flop. There's still a possibility that happens. So if I'm him, I'm waiting, I'm holding it out, and I'm going to see what happens.
So they did. Oh, go ahead, P.
One more thing to add to this, because we all kind of said the same thing, but I think we all failed to mention too, though, is that it's a pro and a con to applying that pressure that we all basically just mentioned, that you just said, D Mills. And the thing is, when you look at the Bogdanovich situation, I don't believe he makes that much more money in Atlanta than he would have in Milwaukee. Ain't like he got some bag that wasn't there. But I probably would assure you that part of the reason of not going to Milwaukee is the fact that Giannis isn't there. Like that he can leave. So It's like you can apply pressure Giannis and want them to make these moves, but also getting people is going to be a little bit harder because let's face it, I can't fully want to go to Milwaukee if Giannis will be good. That changes the whole scenario. If I'm Bogdanovich, I want to sign this 4-year deal, but then the last 3 years of the deal, Giannis probably won't even be there. It's tough. Versus the Hawks. I know the Hawks is about to have John Collins, Trae Young, Cam Reddish, DeAndre Hunter for the next 4 years. I know that this is a solidified unit versus I can go here with this guy, get a taste of the playoffs, make a run. We fall short, he gone. Now, we struggling to make the playoffs.
Right.
So
this is a team that made so many moves this offseason. 7 players from their last year roster are no longer with the team, but these are the new players. So they got Drew Holiday. What's up?
We should try to guess them.
Go ahead. Guess the players that were on the Bucks last year that won't be this year.
Mike, DJ Augustine.
Brent Forbes.
Mm-hmm.
Bobby Portis.
Yep.
They drafted Jordan Nwora.
Mm-hmm.
Sam Morrell.
Yep.
Damn.
That's it.
That's we got them all?
Yeah. Did you say Drew Holiday? I'm guessing you already said Drew Holiday.
I thought you said 8. You said 7.
7 players are gone.
Oh, okay.
And those players are Eric Bledsoe, George Hill, Wes Matthews, Cal Korver, Robin Lopez, Ersan Ilyasova, and Sterling Brown. Y'all know the Bucks had the best bench What was that?
Did they lose DJ Wilson?
Maybe, but on this current list, he's still there.
Okay.
So y'all know they had the best bench in the league last year, and a lot of that bench mob is gone, but they did bring in the guys that y'all just mentioned. So the big acquisition, of course, Drew Holiday fits with the team a little bit better than what Eric Bledsoe would have, and I think that the Bogdanovich get would have been super, super big for this team. But after that, their teams they're not as deep this going into this year as last year. I mean, they may have raised their ceiling, but they may have lowered their floor as well. You know what I'm saying? So it's like a little give and take there. But this is maybe, hopefully, puts the pressure on Coach Bud to actually play Giannis 40 minutes a game in the playoffs, because who's that backup now? You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So it could put some pressure on Bud.
That depth didn't help them in the playoffs.
Exactly.
We saw that bench flop completely. They was pretty much non-existent.
And that's like a question I always have. Like when it comes to like winning basketball, championship basketball, when the playoffs come around, usually depth is cut, right? So like the player that was getting minutes as a 9th and 10th man on the roster usually doesn't get that in the playoffs. And like this year, the Lakers, they weren't running super deep. You know, as far as like overall, like great talent. The end of the rotation guys was just kind of
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say about you saying that. I think I don't want to go too far, but I think depth can be a little overrated. And I think the floor can be a little overrated, right? Like maybe that's a good thing for the Bucks. Like they don't need to win. They don't need to win 60 games. We've seen that before. You know what I mean? The whole 55, 60 win thing. That's like if they win 49 games, that's no problem. People in the media will probably talk like, "Oh, but who cares?" Because you're just striving for the playoffs. They shouldn't. Their mindset should be like Golden State after they won the 73 games. We're not here to chase anything about the regular season. We just want to get to the playoffs and get to where we need to go. But the depth, yeah, like you said, the depth, why does it matter? You're going to play Giannis 40 minutes anyway. You're going to play Drew Holiday and Chris Middleton those minutes. You're going to probably play Brook Lopez. You're probably going to switch out the other wing player. DiVincenzo gets some minutes here. Augustine will probably slide in there. But other than that, what championship team? Yeah, that's like my Hawk concern. We've never seen an 11 to 12 man rotation. So, yeah. I mean, it's just like you're good if you have that strong, solid starting 5 and a couple of guys off the bench, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think there's also comes the play in just like the right rotation. It doesn't always have to be like the deepest, the best players off your bench. But I think when you can play like different types of basketball when you need to, like the chess type of basketball we talk about when the Lakers had the ability to go out small or go out big. I think just having that for the playoffs is probably the most important because it, you know, as good as the Bucks are, they're going to run through the regular season, you know, and, you know, they could be one of them teams that for order them to win, it has to be just like everything has to line up, right? Because there's multiple teams out there that we look at and be like, you know what, they got the personnel to build that wall, you know, and, you know, the Bucks aren't going to shoot 40% from deep, you know, every damn playoff series or something like that. They're going to have a time where they're going to have to get that hump over, and it's either going to have to be Giannis is the one taking them over that hump, or it's going to be the team around him is just so built, so well fit that it's, you know, going to get them over that. I think that's why Giannis should be looking at these playoffs so in depth, because there's another team out there. I think it's the same thing where they're going to have to get over that hump to really make the decision. But it's just the playoffs is so different.
Which team?
I think Philly has the same problem where it, like, we can get into that later, but just Philly has the same problem. You know, we haven't seen them get past the issue still of Joel Embiid and Ben Simmons on the court, and Ben Simmons can't shoot. You know, regardless of how far they go, if to win a championship, something is going to either have to get better or they're going to have to either be so damn good that it's going to have to erase that problem for them.
I agree. I think we've never seen them have the perfect team built around them either. I think the Bucks, we've seen them like over the past few years have this team that's why they're number one in the East. That's why they're the favorite to win. That's why he's an MVP, is because the team was perfectly constructed to compete. Mm-hmm. Philly has always been like in that 3-4. It's like, oh, are they there? But the Bucks have had a few moments on paper and throughout the regular season when it looked like they were the clear-cut favorite. We still haven't seen that from Philly. And I do agree. They need to get over that hump. Mm-hmm. But I think the hump is a little different just because they haven't even hit that level where we looked at them and said they're the best team.
Yeah. And Philly also has a much better constructed roster for them this year. So I think this year you'll actually get to see where they really get over that hump.
Sure.
Yeah, I think so.
And they have better coaching staff too. I didn't like that old coaching staff was pretty
The guys are younger too. Like they're not facing the Giannis dilemma of one of them walking this offseason. So
Yeah.
They'll have them for a while unless they trade one.
I had made a video about this yesterday about Philly, where I feel like Daryl Morey's not crazy enough to come into the front office and make like such dramatic trades, like trading Joel or trading Ben Simmons the first month on the job, that he's probably gonna give it a year and then make that decision if it doesn't work out. Because I know Daryl Morey loves to make some trades, so I think this could be potentially the last year we see these two play together. Daryl Morey has done a good like retooling on the fly, where like they have Seth Curry, which makes sense, and then they brought in Danny Green, which makes sense, and even like the drafting has been pretty good, and they have a pretty solid bench at this. I guess their depth is like the biggest question, right? I think you got Matisse Thybulle, you have Mike Scott, like the bench is kind of iffy, but Dwight Howard. He's done a good retooling on the fly, and maybe this might be the last year that we see these two players together. And it may not even live the whole season. If a disgruntled superstar is out there, Daryl Morey wouldn't be afraid to hop on top of that and giving up one of his players.
Mm-hmm.
I would give this 2 more years depending on the situation. If they lose dramatically in the first round or some shit, or there's some tension, or like you said, a disgruntled star to go get like James Harden, then of course he's going to probably pick up the phone. But I think the Al Horford contract allows them to assess this year with this team and the shooting, this proper structure, and then go into free agency next year and try to put where their weaknesses are. I don't think you ever realistically were going to be able to do that with that Al Horford's deal. But now, since it's Danny Green, who will be off the books, you know what I mean? You'll have won't be a lot. They're not going to add Giannis, but they'll have some wiggle room to get better. And I think that's all contending teams or teams that are that close need. Okay, we lost in the Eastern Conference Finals, but it was because of this. Oh, this guy out there fits that, so let's go get him. I think they can do that without having Horford off the books. So we'll see. Milwaukee, though, I think they did get better. I think that was your initial question. Yeah. I think they did get better. I think Drew Holiday for Bledsoe just makes them better, in my opinion. But how much better did they get? I think it's to be seen. But I definitely do think they did get better.
Yeah,
I think it's around the same too. Adding Drew Holiday was just a big W for them because they have a dude that can, they can probably lock up opposing guards, at least try his best, and then also give him some points on the other end. But I think this team is kind of similar. I think some of the minuses that they take away kind of like balances out the additions, but this team's going to fly through the regular season. I think it all comes down to the playoffs, regardless of where Giannis does. Like I said, there's several teams I can see, like, they're just going to they're going to put up that wall, and if it ends the same way, then I don't know. It's like, regardless of the shooting, man, it's just Giannis, I think, is also going to have to take another step.
Yeah, I think they got better because for the last few years, they've been kind of wanting to get rid of Bledsoe. He's been in trade rumors consistently. So when you get rid of the guy that you were trying to get rid of eventually and you get a better guy in Drew Holiday, I think you inevitably get better because they gave up Bledsoe and George Hill. I mean, George Hill was huge for them in the playoffs off the bench, but I feel like when you get Drew Holiday, he gives you a different dynamic where he can actually come out, defend. He's a really good playmaker. You can give him the ball down the stretch sometimes. He's one of those glue guys that just brings everybody together.
Yeah, I mean, they should be praying that Giannis signs a Supermax this offseason because, I mean, those 3 picks and 2 pick swaps are going to look so very good to the Pelicans if Giannis doesn't sign. Like, if he doesn't sign, this Bucks team is not, without Giannis, this Bucks team is what? Maybe in 7th, 8th seed at the best. Like what Giannis is that team. But I think there is some merit to the idea that, like, I agree with y'all. I do think that they are better, but there's some merit to the idea of, like, you can't just put together a team on the fly like that and expect it to click, especially in a shortened offseason, a shortened training camp, a shorter preseason. Like, we're going to be into games that matter very, very soon, y'all. Like, training camp is starting up. So having 8 new guys on the roster instead of the 8 guys that have been on the team for the last 3 seasons where you've built this camaraderie could be something. I mean, I don't know what the leadership look like in the locker room. Like, it worked for the Lakers because you got goddamn LeBron James, like the best leader of all time. But you have to question a little bit of that. And some of the people that were leaders in that locker room last season are gone. You know, like George Hill, from everything I've read, has been a vocal leader for that team since he's been with them. Sterling Brown might not have been a guy that was getting a lot of minutes, but he was loved in that locker room. So it's just like things are changing, and if this is how you get Giannis to sign, then you do it 100% of the time. But if he doesn't sign, then you're in a scary place. You're in a very scary place. That's all. The next thing that we have on the list as far as people getting extensions is Brandon Ingram. It happened right after our last episode. He got pretty much the same deal, 5 years, $158 million, with the opportunity to get even more with some incentives and things like that. Another player, young player that had an all-star caliber season and gets that max. We was questioning it last episode, and it happened just like that.
Yeah, they was just taking too long, but I think we all knew it was coming and what happened. It's their best player. It's what they should do. You know, max him out, and continue to rock with him. I just hope that they continue to allow him to be their best player. I know the Zion hype is real and extreme, but I think at the end of the day, Brandon Ingram, especially as of right now, is your best player. I have some other concerns about the roster, and it doesn't seem like they have a clear direction. So I'm confused. Even they extended Steven Adams, so just a lot of head scratchers. So I'm interested to see them hit the floor and play, because I don't know exactly what they're doing or what they're trying to do.
Yeah, I honestly think that signing is one of the worst, like, signing, whatever you want to do. Like, that's probably one of the worst moves to me during this offseason.
Extending him? Are you saying extending Steven Adams?
Just getting Steven Adams. When you have Zion Williamson, and you need somebody to probably space the floor so he can kind of work. But I'm super happy for Brandon Ingram. Just watching him grow is amazing to me. You know, just a couple years ago, a lot of those tough shots he was making, or the ones he's making now, he was missing. People were saying that, like, is he really that dude? Is he more of a point forward, stuff like that? But I watched my man go up to like a 25-point score, so I'm super happy for him.
Yeah, Brandon Ingram, he deserved it. The season, he was an all-star for the first time, so you kind of got to pay him. When you hit that milestone, when you're one of the top guys in the league, you got to pay him.
So my question to y'all, because I had a bunch of questions about this offseason, and one of y'all just mentioned it, most confusing move of the whole offseason off the top of your head. And the one that I had came up with was the Steven Adams trade and extension. The trade itself, I don't hate, because it was part of that whole Drew Holiday deal. So they had to bring in some type of money, and Steven Adams is making a lot of money. Cool. It's the extension without seeing that man on the court that is crazy to me. The extension without seeing how he would work with Zion is crazy. Like, I understand the Drew Holiday move, because, again, we're still questioning whether Giannis is going to sign that max. So, yeah, you brought in 2 point guards. You already have a point guard that you see might be the future. But if those picks turn into something, then you do that trade. But, like, the Steven Adams thing, we had been talking about, like, bro, this could be one of those teams like Philly over the past couple seasons where, like, every NBA fan in the world knows the recipe to make things work, but the front office don't. How the hell do you sign a center that can't shoot outside of 3 feet when you have Zion on your team? It just doesn't make sense to me. And then to extend him on top of that, is wild. It's wild.
Yeah, I mean, like, if anything, if you needed a dude that was going to protect the rim or something, you could have got a cheap one off the bench and found a more suitable, fit for Zion. Because, I mean, that's my only thing that they think that would work for them is he can protect the rim.
Yep.
Do y'all think they start Bledsoe or Lonzo?
Lonzo is gonna start. They might start.
They better start Lonzo.
I think they might start them both.
Yeah.
Them both? But you don't think they're going to start JJ Redick?
I would hope they start JJ for the spacing aspect, but
they didn't start him last year.
Yeah, I think they might start them both, and then
but this is a new coach. This is Stan Van. This isn't Alvin Gentry.
Lonzo off the bench.
I hope he works with the younger players more than just like they're freaking trying to get Eric Bledsoe some minutes. Like, come on now.
Well, Seth Van and them, they did say that they want to win basketball games. So it's not, I mean, as much as we want to see like some of the development of the younger dudes, they did make trades for some older guys. Like George Hill is going to get significant minutes. Eric Bledsoe's probably going to start. Steven Adams, you just extended him. He's going to get those minutes instead of Jackson Hayes. So they had the most puzzling offseason, I would say. I would definitely say that. I understand the first trade for Drew Holiday. Those picks could be valuable. But like after that, you're like... Even the draft, like Kira Lewis, solid, but like you already have three good point guards in the roster. Where the hell is his minutes come from? It's very, very weird because as P mentioned, the direction is just up in here. Like if I asked y'all right now, based on what you know about this team, how many wins would you think they get? Are they a playoff team right now?
I have to see them. I don't know.
It's
Because you have to
possible,
see them
but
play.
Nah, I mean you could say that about every team though. There, we're just throwing our guesses. Just based
No,
on.
I would say no. Just because the spacing just seems terrible.
If you asked me before free agency, I would have said, man, I think they next year, after I see what they do with free agency, because in my mind they're going to make certain type of moves. So I would have been like, man, they after this free agency, they gonna get right. They gonna sneak in as an AC. I would probably have the same type of energy that I had last year. But seeing the moves of drafting a Kyra Lewis in a place where you could have got somebody like a Naismith or somebody that could give you shooting, what you really needed, and then free agency. Trade Drew Holiday. I don't like to get back as far as players, but like you said, those picks, just give me any players then. I just want those picks clearly. But then you make it clear that you want Bledsoe and you want to keep him and he's a part of that team. Because everybody just knew, like, oh, they'll probably just get rid of Bledsoe at some point. No, he's a part of this team. George Hill's the one we're going to get rid of. He's going to OKC.
Wait, did that happen officially?
Yeah, he's in OKC. Like,
Yeah.
you play 2K, George Hill's in OKC.
My fault, team.
So confusing, man. Confusing. I don't want to get disrespectful because I like Steven Adams, but there were just a lot of different directions I would have went. I damn near would have went Bobby Portis before that because shooting is just something that they need more. Like Zion, I would attempt to let Zion rim protect before I went and got somebody that wasn't going to bring shooting in the front court. Like I thought that was the whole reason Derek Favors was let go. If that was the case, just bring his ass back. You know what I'm saying? Like,
at least you get like a 15, 18-foot jump.
I don't understand it. But hey, what if this shit work out? What if they become a better team by adding Steven Adams in the front court?
It definitely is possible. And we've seen crazy things happen in the NBA for sure.
They're definitely going to be on the rebound.
Bro, I remember I think this is like the first game OKC was playing in the bubble. I remember like they just ran a pin down screen for Steven Adams the first play of the game. He just chucked up a 3. They got to get more of that going.
They definitely going to be one of the best rebounding teams with Steven Adams and Zion out there.
Yeah, they're going to be able to hit the glass, man. They will be. But
they get extra possessions, and I mean, they don't have nobody to kick it out to, but.
Yeah, be out, boy.
True.
Come on now.
Lonzo Ball shot the ball pretty well.
He was above average 3-point shooter last season. I
JJ
know it's hard to say, but I mean it's a fact. He just was last year.
I think they'll figure it out.
I think they're one of the more confusing teams because, like y'all said, I can see it where they miss in playoffs completely, but I could definitely see a world where like Zion just come in sophomore season, he is the real deal, healthy type stuff, and Brandon Ingram takes another leap, and now we're looking at a team that like even with these veterans who are good in locker room, they put it together and they're a playoff team. But then again, if you told me that they ended up winning 30 games next year, I wouldn't say you crazy either. It's just one of those teams where it's going to be hard to predict because on paper it doesn't make sense, but shit, sometimes those on paper bad teams end up being solid. It's just better coaching, all of those things come into play. All those things come into play.
The most about it is that if you do win 30 games, what starts to happen is something called the panic. And now what that does is that take those young players that we like so much with this core, and it now makes them kind of for sale. Like if this doesn't work out, Lonzo Ball is going to be probably your most valuable guy that you're willing to part with to get you better, and you're probably going to have to lose. Like the Celtics. The Celtics dropped the ball on acquiring Miles Turner. So they got Tristan Thompson. Makes them somewhat better in the front court, but it doesn't make them to where they're trying to be. So they're probably at some point, if they're serious about winning a championship, are going to have to move somebody that they like and that's valuable. And it's not going to be Tatum or Brown. Kemba's value, I don't know where it's at. Don't think it's that high. That only leaves Marcus Smart, who is the heart and soul, but is the only guy that has value that you would want to part with before you part with the other guys, unless out of nowhere Danny Ainge is willing to part with Jaylen Brown.
So let's talk about them because it's official what the actual trade offer was. Now we had kind of talked about it last episode. Gordon Hayward for Miles Turner in a first-round pick, and Danny Ainge was like, "Nope, I'd rather lose him for nothing."
It's kind of stupid.
He said he wanted a second starter, and the Indiana Pacers were willing to give another role player similar to Doug McDermott, but instead. Danny Ainge wanted a second starter.
I think it goes back to like how you said a few weeks ago, how he just tries to finesse other GMs.
Try to finesse,
yeah. And I think he just should have taken that off. But this is a guy that y'all been trying to get for years. Like,
and a pick, bro, and a pick.
And a first round.
Bro, There's only 5 freaking spots on the court at one time for your players to be. You want to know? You was gonna have Kemba, Marcus Smart, the 2 wings that you got with Jason Tatum, Jalen Brown, and then Miles. That would have been a perfect lineup. But you need another starter for what? They already have so many young guys off the bench, man. You're gonna be decent in the regular season. Just let them get their feet wet and everything. But you got your starting 5. Like they're gonna be the ones that are playing in them playoffs games like down the stretch. So
Right.
Now, there's some Celtic fans that see what we're saying, right? But then, of course, there's the fans that don't want to say that their team made any mistake. And the one thing a lot of Celtic fans are saying is size was never really a problem for us. It was always the depth, which I'm glad we talked about earlier. Like, the depth doesn't fucking matter. If your starting lineup is Kemba, Marcus, the 2 wings, and Miles Turner, what fucking depth do you need?
bro, it's not like like when you're in the play or like just when you're playing, it's not like they're just going to sub out the whole starting 5, like roll the bench in. They got to play 10. Like you're perfectly fine with taking Jason Tatum out for 5 minutes. Let him get some rest. Let me throw whoever out there it's just how you manage those rotations. You don't need to be 10 deep to be good for the playoffs.
Yeah.
Just having players that can come in and complement your starters are perfect.
Because then they also let Brad Wanamaker walk.
Bragg plays for the Warriors now. Plays for the Warriors, yeah.
Yeah, he was a big piece off their bench.
I think they'll be fine without Brad Wanamaker.
You think so? I liked him off their bench, especially in the playoffs.
I don't think saying they'll be fine means that we hate them.
No.
I think they got a lot of guys that they've been stockpiling on with all of those picks that deserve to kind of get these opportunities now. I think Brad Stevens is a good coach for that. Brad Wanamaker, isn't nobody that you was craving over.
Maybe like 30.
He was doing some stuff though for them. He was definitely making plays.
Was he the best? Isn't he like the best free throw shooter of all time? Like, isn't that some that I remember?
It was definitely some plays where he had made a move or some driving layup. I had a double take because I'm like, was that Kemba making that play?
For sure. But what I'm saying is he became that with the Celtics. Like before the Celtics, nobody was caring about Brad Wanamaker. So I have faith in Brad Stevens to be able to go and do that with another player like a Romeo Langford. Maybe Carson Edwards.
93% from the free throw line last season.
And that's what be killing me because they be having all these first rounders, but like besides Jalen Brown and Jason Tatum, like they really ain't done much. Like they just end up just staying on the bench because when the playoffs come, you probably don't want them out there anyway. So it's like, bro, you might as well just move them, man. What are you waiting for? You got to do something with these.
And then when they got our guy Aaron Naismith, so they needed some free minutes to let some other guys play because, like you said, Mike, I don't even think it's the fact that the guys on them rosters that they draft don't do nothing. I just think that they don't get a chance. Like, how many minutes did you really see any of those young guys play in a bubble?
No, only one was Grant Williams getting like 10 minutes a game.
But like Romeo Langford, not really.
That's what I'm saying. These are first round picks that they've been spending on and like stashing for the last couple of years. That they're just doing kind of cooling on the bench.
Yeah. Hey, Brad Wanamaker's like career awards are actually crazy, bro.
Is he like a winner or some shit like that?
G League champion in 2012, Turkey League champion in 2018, Turkey League Finals MVP, President Cup winner, 2-time All-Star in Turkey, All-Euro second team, 2-time BBL champion, that's in Germany, Finals MVP in Germany, Best Offensive Player in Germany, which is interesting that they have an MVP and Best Offensive Player. That we need to take note of the German league. 2-time All-Star in Germany, 2-time All-NBA BBL first team in Germany, All-Star Game MVP in Germany, French Super Cup champion, and then he was an All-American back in 2011.
He might be looking at the Basketball Hall of Fame with all that shit you just named off.
Imagine if he
got a resume for days.
Winning player.
Yeah. No, he does that, I guess. Brad Wanamaker. Man, to come over to the NBA until he was 29 years old. Very successful career, though, outside of that. Very successful career. One of those players that was on, like, you remember in 2K15, they had, like, the EuroLeague teams, and, like, it was a young Luka Doncic who was, like, 17 years old, 15 years old. Brad Wanamaker was on them rosters. Just didn't know.
I hate that they take him out.
Yeah.
Rudy Fernandez over there, the guy that the Knicks just got his straight right, Sergio Llull, who never came over. He's on those rosters.
That's a big deal for y'all. What if he decided to finally come over?
That would be surprising.
It would be very surprising. But you got a great playmaker for Obi and Mitchell Robinson. Speaking of people going over, Derek, your boy Marco, said he's going to Italy, man.
Yes. It's heartbreaking.
He was the first person that came to my mind when I saw that, D-Mills.
Because I was hoping he would sign like to a contender and actually go help them.
But then I got this thing that put out like Tuesday. They're about to start training camp, and I'm like, that's why. Shit is so fast. Like he got to go make sure he can eat this year. He can't sit around and wait for, the season to start. Because like that's what it looks like. It looks like teams are going into starting the season. So like you might get a Michael Kidd-Gilchrist signing with the Knicks here. But other than that, free agency is kind of it's done. It's a wrap.
Yeah, the rest of these signings you're probably gonna see is like training camp deals, and they gotta have to work their way to keep that roster spot.
My man said I gotta go eat.
What do y'all have a Marco Belinelli memory just off the top of your head? Like
he was with the Bulls when he was a starting guard after somebody got hurt. He was hooping. I remember those days.
Two things. 76ers playoff shot.
Yep, that's the first thing that come to mind for me.
And then secondly, if you go on your phone right now and type in Marco Belinelli, he's gonna have some pictures from like a photo shoot with that boy like trying to get fly. It's like some real colorful shit. It might have been like a Beats by Dre photo shoot or some shit. But like I'll never forget years ago, I like Googled him and those pictures came out. I was like, is this the right guy? Is this a model? Or is this a hooper?
I couldn't imagine him being sponsored by Beats.
Hey, Marco Belinelli also, on top of that, he got that tattoo, which is fire, which is like the
I was
championship trophy.
I was gonna say, didn't he hit like a game winner in the playoffs
Against Philly, right? It wasn't a game winner. His toe was on the line, but they had shot the confetti.
Yeah.
The confetti had came down. I don't remember if they ended up winning that game, though. Did they win that game? Oh, now I got to look it up. 76er game.
I wouldn't say they did because they lost the first game.
Let me. I'm gonna double check it. 2018, game 3 against the Celtics to overtime before they lost by 3. They lost by 3 against Philly. Oh, they threw the confetti and caught an L. That's rough, bro. That's rough. Yeah, that was a good series. Forget that game. That series, 2018 playoffs, Marco Belinelli and them, because he was their star player back in 2018.
That's the one that's like 4-1, but if you add all the totals, it's close, right?
It's way closer than that. Yeah, because I remember, JJ Redick was talking about it on his podcast with somebody, and I forget who. Oh, Jason Tatum. Him and Jason Tatum were talking about this series. And like the games were always close, except for like game 1 here was a 16-point blowout. But after that, everything was just like super, super close. 5-point game, 3-point game that went to OT. A 2-point game to close out the series. Like, it was close, man. It was close. And if I'm not mistaken, who was their point? Was Kyrie injured? Kyrie didn't play this series.
No, he didn't.
Terry Rozier, top 10 point guard, was starting at point guard this season. Aaron Baines at the 5. Man, this team was fun. Marcus Smart still on the team. Marcus Smart shot 1 for 10 in the elimination game.
What was the rest of his stats, though?
5 fouls.
Oh.
3 rebounds, a steal in the block.
Oh.
That's the same. Jason Tatum tried to dunk on Embiid, and he told his edge, "You got lucky. You got lucky." I remember I posted that on Twitter, and that shit went viral. You got lucky.
That was a series, man. I hope we get more series like that, bro. We need.
I feel like, especially out west, we gonna get them this year.
Hey, out east we might too, bro. The East is deep this year. It ain't as great as the West, but like it's gonna be some competitive teams out there, bro.
The Hawks.
Who's one of them?
I would guess we finished like 10th this season. I don't think we're in that playoff run. Maybe the play-in game at the best, but we didn't. I don't think so.
Hawks? Is y'all saying the Hawks is a playoff?
I think the Hawks are a playoff team.
Yeah, if they're that deep, there's some issues really going on.
I know. I was looking at
definitely better than the Magic.
I remember you had asked us that question. You were like, how you feel? He was like about signing like a $20 million, 6-man. I was like, I mean, it's like something you got to see like how it works out.
Mm-hmm.
But I was looking at their Reddit page and everybody's like, yeah, they were happy with all the signs they got there. Like, we had the worst bench in the league. Now
They did.
Yeah. So I seen Atlanta fans were super happy with their bench moves. So.
No, they should be definitely happy about all the moves. I mean, they have been out of the playoffs for the last couple of years. We just said the worst bench in the league last year.
That was so long ago. It was like a decade ago. That's probably buried.
No.
Yeah, I couldn't find them either. I was just like, I even typed in a Belinelli photo shoot.
Some GQ shit popped up when I typed it in.
It was, man. Yeah, Hawks fans should be. I think the Bulls end up like 10th, 11th seed this season. I wouldn't complain about it. As long as we see growth as far as like players playing into their role and we see Billy Donovan, be a better coach and we have some camaraderie because we've missed that for the past couple of seasons, I'm cool with us finishing outside the playoffs, especially because that 2021 draft class is nice.
Hey,
So
if Zach LaVine take a jump defensively and playmaking wise, I could see them fighting.
We don't need Zach LaVine to take a jump. We need everybody else to take a jump. We need Larry Markin to be better. We need Wendell to be healthy.
I need the whole roster to take a
The
jump.
thing about the East, I feel like the teams at the bottom are the ones that's going to be like making the Bulls, they can jump, Charlotte could jump, Hawks could jump. It's just those teams that can hover around the eighth seed are the ones that's going to be.
The Bucks are a playoff team.
Mm-hmm.
The Raptors are a playoff team.
Celtics,
Heat, Philly.
Pacers is probably going to be there.
Damn, slow down. I can only count. So what did we just name?
That was at six.
Oh,
that's
we
six
didn't name
teams already. That's Brooklyn is going to be there.
Heat, Sixers, Toronto,
Boston, Pacers.
I named Brooklyn D. Mills.
So we got like 7, like what would be locked. It would have to take a significant injury for one of those teams to fall out.
We haven't named the Hawks.
And so you have new teams like the Hawks. You would have a team like the Hornets who might be a little frisky. The Orlando Magic will be, decent. And then you're going to have like the Bulls ceiling is the playoff games. I mean, the play-in games, I think. Something crazy would have to happen. Like Larry Market would have to turn into the most improved player for us to do anything significant this season. Which
True.
I ain't counting out.
Was that a bold prediction? Was that a hot take?
No, it's not.
Oh.
I'm just saying. I wouldn't be surprised if it happened. It wouldn't be my pick. We're going to do like preseason picks for all of our awards once we get a little bit closer to that time. The preseason schedule came out yesterday. A lot of the teams are playing 2 games versus the same team to keep like the spread of anything kind of low, which is very, very smart. What's that?
Mike smiling.
Hey man, it's that time.
They're trying to get that money early, boy. They got them 2 Clippers games. I think they play them like twice in like just a few days. But yeah, I mean, it makes sense though. Right next to each other, keep the spread down. I don't know. I'm excited to see just how like load management comes into the place this year with everything going on, especially like with everything being shortened. I don't know. I just don't want to see like these injuries happening, just because like players are going from 0 to 100 so quickly.
Right. As we're recording this episode, the NBA, they're in meetings talking about like the coronavirus precautions and stuff, including the snitch hotline being back. So if you see somebody on the other team going out to the club, you call that number.
Bro, them killed me in the bubble, bro. Especially when it'd be like LeBron on the phone. It'd be him calling Adam Silver like, yeah, I seen Danny Green sneaking out last night. That shooting game. That shit used to kill me.
Harden be in these streets.
I'm interested to see who doesn't make it.
The playoff?
We just named like 7 teams that should be locks in the East. I think we could do the same for the West.
Yep.
Like when you look at it, somebody is going to disappoint. Like we named 7 teams right there, and the Hawks was not one of them.
Mm-hmm.
So they can overexceed, and if they do, then that means one of the teams we name are now underachieving.
Honestly, we also the Wizards. If John Wall is healthy too, I always got to think about the Wizards too. So
I honestly think that the team that falls out is a team that has a big injury. Like that's the only thing. If everybody's healthy, those 7 teams we named are playoff teams, 100%.
Yeah.
It's just about. I mean, but we know the NBA season never works like that. We're always going to get an injury, unfortunately. So.
Then we go out west, and you have the Lakers, Clippers, Nuggets, Blazers,
Mavericks,
Nuggets.
Mavericks don't have Porzingis for the first couple months of the season. That might play a factor into things.
I wasn't mad at it because we got their pick.
I want to
Jazz.
I'm gonna still say Warriors, man. With Steph Curry.
All right, Warriors.
You think so? They might be above. They're on the bubble, bro. They're on the bubble.
It's a chance.
Yeah, they just got Kelly Oubre. I think they'll be decent.
What scares me is that they're like 6 deep. After that, it's like who are we playing?
Well, they got Steph, Kelly, Wiggins, Draymond, Wiseman, Marquise Chris. Damn, they are about 16.
They're about 16.
Y'all think they would have made that Kelly Oubre move if Klay Thompson was healthy?
No.
You think that would?
But
It could even help. Honestly, you talk about them, they would have still been like 6-7 deep.
But they still did have a big ass trade exception of about $18 million. So they were going to use it somehow. I don't know if Kelly Oubre was going to be the guy, but Kelly Oubre might have been the only guy on the market because he was coming from OKC. So maybe they might have still made that move and have Kelly Oubre be a 6-man or something.
We forgetting a bunch of people. Okay, Steph Curry, Kelly Oubre, Andrew Wiggins, Draymond, Wiseman, Marquise Chris, Eric Pascal.
Oh, facts. Fuck.
Jordan Poole. I want to look at the rest of their roster. I feel like I'm forgetting.
He had an Eric Pascal.
But Eric Pascal had a good rookie season.
He is. I'm Jordan Poole cool. I just I got a bad taste in my mouth with the Warriors too, because that's what I've been playing with. I play with them on my career, and like I said, when you first start off, Steph and Klay is not in the game, so you're playing with literally the bench warmers, and it's
for
terrible.
Real?
Yeah.
What, are they injured? Oh no, because you're not a starter, right?
You don't start, so you play with the bench. So I don't like.
Forgot about that.
That's how I always know, the Warriors, man. After that first couple starters, it's damn.
Yeah. Klay Thompson did have a successful surgery, which is great. Expect him to make a. Oh, they brought in Ken Bazemore and Brad Wanamaker.
Right.
Derek's guy, Brad Wanamaker.
Kevon Looney is still there. He's a rotational player.
Is Kevon Looney playing basketball ever again though?
What happened? Didn't he injure his shoulder?
His shoulders were messed up, and then he couldn't jump anymore.
That's a big part of basketball.
Right, exactly. He's only 24. Bro, that man was playing with a torn, messed up shoulder in the playoffs. He was like, I want to win this championship. I respect that. He didn't do anything, though.
No.
But run around.
He had decent moments, though.
Right here from SB Nation, September 2020. Warriors Kevon Looney is finally healthy is the title.
Okay, all right. There you go. There we go. Okay. So maybe, they're deeper than I was giving them credit for. They definitely got at least a little 8.5, 9-man rotation.
But they can't afford to lose Steph to any capacity.
Yeah.
No.
He gonna have to play 40 minutes a game if they want to make the playoff.
Or Wiggins, it's finally that time, baby. It's that time. Make that leap. Let me see. What else is in my notes? We already talked about everything. That's all. That's all she wrote, folks. Unless y'all got some other topics y'all want to bring up.
I want to know when we ever gonna play that game Mike had.
Bro, I literally have to recreate the game. Like the game I had, bro. It all had to deal with free agency and where players were going. So it's gonna be riddles about that. But everybody signed now, so it's damn. So I could recreate the game. I just gotta change up the the stuff.
Okay. All right. Well, think about that for the next time. We appreciate y'all watching or listening to this episode Through the Wire. Rate 5 stars, leave a like on the video, and we'll be back on Tuesday with a brand new episode. Peace.